In the vast open world of Solymera, where twin suns bathed the realm in radiant energy, every living thing evolved, leveling up like players in a grand cosmic game. Every creature, that is, except for a peculiar sapling named Umbros. He was a shadow tree, born with shimmering silver leaves that trembled in fear whenever sunlight touched them, while all the other trees in the forest of dawning grew tall and mighty. Eagerly drinking the sunlight like magical XP, Umbros did the opposite. He hid. He sought refuge beneath towering cliffs, inside ancient ruins, and behind massive stones. He whispered to himself that the light was a threat, that it would burn him, expose his flaws, or simply erase him. So, he rooted himself deep inside a forgotten canyon, a place steeped in permanent shade where even the fierce sunbeams dared not tread. Season after season, he watched from his dark corner as the other trees leveled up. They sprouted enchanted branches, their bark shimmered with new abilities, and they grew glowing skill orbs, unlocking ancient talents that pulsed with power. Meanwhile, Umbros remained exactly as he was, tiny, brittle, and consumed by fear. Then, one day, the entire world of Solymera trembled. A colossal game world event had begun. The eclipse worm had arrived. This serpentine dragon, a monstrous being forged from molten stone, shadow mist, and the light of collapsing stars, descended upon the forest. Its mere presence was a corruption, turning vibrant green leaves to ash, draining creatures of their life energy, and swallowing entire regions into a suffocating darkness. Across the server, players and powerful guardians fought desperately, their spells and attacks clashing against the encroaching night. But the worm seemed unstoppable. It was during this chaos that a young naturemage named Lyria stumbled upon the forgotten canyon. There, hiding under a cracked obsidian ledge, she found Umbros, his silver leaves shaking uncontrollably as the world outside collapsed. Lyria approached him gently, her voice a soft whisper against the roar of destruction. "You cannot grow by running from the light," she said. But Umbros, his voice a rustle of dry leaves, replied, "The sun will burn me. The world is too bright." Lyria then shared a terrible truth, a secret woven into the very fabric of their world. The eclipse worm, she explained, wasn't born from some distant, evil magic. It was born from the shadows cast by all things that refused to face the sun. It was fear, accumulated over ages, that had coalesced into a monster powerful enough to devour worlds. Every moment Umbros had spent hiding, every second he had cowered in the dark, his fear had unknowingly fed the beast, giving it strength. Guilt washed over Umbros, but the terror was still stronger. "I am too small to matter," he whispered, his tiny form shrinking even further. But Lyria pointed a tired hand toward the ruined trees around them, their mighty branches now charred and lifeless. "Look," she said, "they were filled with solar magic, and the worm has consumed it. But you are untouched. You still hold a latent potential, an ability to generate a pure light, a light that has never been corrupted by pride or greed. A light born from choosing courage." Just then, the eclipse worm coiled its massive body above the canyon, its shadow blotting out what little light remained. It unleashed a storm of black flame and fractured shadows, a torrent of pure fear. Lyria threw herself in front of Umbros, her hands glowing with emerald energy. She cast shields of woven code and summoned massive vines to bind the dragon. But its power was overwhelming. The worm's darkness drained her mana, her spells flickering and dying until she collapsed onto the cracked canyon floor, gasping for breath. With her last bit of strength, she looked at the terrified sapling and whispered, "It doesn't matter how small you are, only what you choose to face." Watching her fall, seeing the protector who had shown him kindness brought so low, something shifted inside Umbros. A feeling he had never known before responsibility quivered through his roots. It was a spark, and it ignited a long-buried ancestral memory. He saw a vision of the first of his kind, the original shadow trees, who hadn't hidden. They had faced the twin suns head-on. They burned, they cracked, they suffered, but they also grew. They evolved, transforming into the legendary luminary trees, the cosmic pillars that once kept the entire world in balance. The memory faded, but the realization remained. Umbros had a choice, the same choice he had run from his entire life. Trembling, but with a new, unshakable resolve, he pushed his fragile body out from under the obsidian ledge. He moved out of the shadows and into the blazing sunlight for the very first time. The pain was immediate and absolute. It felt like fire coursing through every leaf. His bark cracked, his sap boiled. It was everything he had ever feared. But as he endured the burn, something incredible happened. With every second he spent in the radiance, he grew stronger, taller, brighter. He wasn't just absorbing the sun's power, he was awakening to his true nature. His silver leaves ignited, turning to brilliant, shimmering gold. His roots didn't just grow, they exploded through the canyon floor, anchoring him with immense power. His branches reached for the heavens, not in fear, but in triumph. In mere moments, the tiny, brittle sapling was gone. In his place stood a towering luminary tree, radiating beams of pure courage light that pierced the sky. This light, born not of power, but of choice, slammed into the eclipse worm. The monster shrieked as its shadow body began to unravel. Centuries of accumulated fear dissolved under the brilliant assault. The darkness scattered across the horizon in glittering fragments until, with a final roar of broken night, the worm shattered, vanishing into a harmless swirl of stardust. As the pure light washed over Solymera, the forest began to heal. Rivers of energy flowed once more. Creatures respawned, their forms renewed with a new vitality. The world felt brighter, cleaner, and more alive than ever before. On the canyon floor, Lyria slowly rose to her feet, staring in astonishment at the magnificent golden tree that now towered over the land. "You were never weak," she whispered in awe. "You were only hidden." A deep, warm voice, like the rustling of a billion golden leaves, echoed across the canyon. It was Umbros. "I spent my life hiding from the sun, afraid to grow," he said. "But I see now that staying small was the real burn." In that moment, a notification appeared for every player, every creature, every being in Solymera. It was a world blessing. The courage bloomed. This new buff granted increased growth and resilience whenever one faced their fears head-on. Legends quickly spread across the servers, stories of the little tree who lived in the shadows, believing safety was the same as survival. He had learned the greatest truth of their world. The sun does not burn those who face it, it grows them. And so, Umbros the tree who hid from the sun became the brightest symbol of courage in the history of the game. He stood as a permanent reminder that hiding only delays our destiny, but it is exposure to the very things we fear that unlocks our true evolution. True growth only begins when we finally step into the light. Thanks for watching.